The hour is upon us to call the Village Community of the Whole to order. And I'd like to roll call, please.
Washburn.
Here.
Venturini.
Here.
Bhatia.
Here.
Hewitt.
Here.
Anastasio.
Here.
DeGroot.
He's here. Trustee Doxey should be joining us sometime while we're in session. So what this meeting is about today is we're receiving a series of documents all related to the planned expansion of Microsoft in our community. We'll begin with a brief presentation by Microsoft, followed by a briefing by our legal counsel and our financial consultant to give us an overview, of what we will be asked to consider at our upcoming meetings November 27th. All documents are available to anybody who wants to review them, and there will be a full opportunity for public comment and board member questions and comments on November 27th. So again, over the past weeks and months, we've had at the board level dibs and dabs of what's going on with our ongoing relationship with Microsoft. And so today is the first day that all of this information, the dibs and dabs, is brought to us as a whole. So the public is hearing at the same time the village board and the Community Development Authority, who is joining us at this meeting as well. So at this point, I'd like to call on AJ Steinbrecher of Microsoft as our first presenter, and then AJ will be followed by Alan Markovitz and Todd Taves. AJ.
Thank you, Village President DeGroot and fellow trustees, for welcoming us here tonight. We really appreciate you allowing us to join you to speak about our project within Area 3 of TID 5, as well as our intent to expand within the area. My name is AJ Steinbrecher, and I'm the Director of Land Acquisition for North America as part of Microsoft's Cloud Operations and Innovation business. Technology has become an integral part of everyday life, and data centers are at the heart of the internet. As we've described before, the data center building houses thousands of computer servers and data storage devices connected to the internet. These buildings are similar in size and appearance to a distribution warehouse, which houses this compute power. At Microsoft, our mission is to empower every person and every organization on the planet to achieve more. Our mission in action is based on innovation, diversity and inclusion, corporate social responsibility, AI, and trustworthy computing. Our focus in our work encompasses our corporate values of respect, integrity, and accountability. Today, Microsoft operates over 300 data centers in over 34 countries. Businesses of all types rely on Microsoft's data centers. Here you can see a few of your local businesses. In fact, some Microsoft executives sit on a few of the local boards. As you are aware, recently this board approved permits for the foundations on the structure in the east part of Area 3, which is currently underway. Overall, we are here today because Microsoft is committed to driving inclusive economic opportunity in southeastern Wisconsin and supporting these aspirations to become a technology and innovation hub. The village of Mount Pleasant benefits from its location relative to both Milwaukee and Chicago via the I-94 corridor. Investments this community and its leaders made to date were done so with a vision for transformational growth and investments in science and technology. Microsoft is proud to partner with Wisconsin as it continues to grow as a leading hub for innovation and technology in the U.S. and beyond. Wisconsin's unique quality, significant infrastructure, and the recent state designation as a U.S. regional technology hub make it an ideal place for us to develop data centers and cloud technologies. Earlier this year, we announced our plan to construct new data centers in the village of Mount Pleasant. And today we are sharing our intent to invest billions in the development of our cloud infrastructure. Our current efforts in Area 3 are just the start. Today we are here to represent the company's intent to purchase more than 1,000 acres within Areas 2 and 3 of TID 5 within the village of Mount Pleasant. Of this total, approximately 630 of these acres will be purchased from the village of Mount Pleasant if your board and the county vote favorably for this project. This expansion, beyond what we communicated to you in the spring of 23, is consistent with our development within other communities around the U.S. and the globe. Just less than 2 months after purchasing the land this past spring, we started construction of our first data center here in Mount Pleasant. We expect this work will create both construction jobs and full-time positions in the future, as well as generate billions of dollars in capital investment and related tax revenue. Data centers create operational jobs and construction jobs, as well as positive impact to the local economy over the years of our development. Here we've highlighted some of the key operational and construction roles you can expect to see in the area. I would like to now pass the focus to my colleague, Gabby De La Garza, to speak about our community partnerships here in Wisconsin.
Thank you, AJ, and good afternoon, everyone. I am Gabby De La Garza, and I lead community affairs for Microsoft's data centers globally. So our focus in community affairs is to make sure that we're creating positive relationships in the communities that host our data centers. We also are the first point of contact between the community and Microsoft, and we work with our communities to establish positive relationships. We want to be a good neighbor wherever we operate, and to do that, we have to understand the local community and we have to understand the priorities. So in order to do that, earlier this year, we've already started holding public meetings as well as individual meetings with organizations, with government officials, and with the community to understand community priorities and to gain feedback as well about our plans, to share our plans, to answer questions, but also to gain feedback. And this feedback has been really insightful, and it has helped us really start working here, start investing in the community. When Microsoft joins a community, we also bring our commitment to empowering people and organizations to achieve more. So starting with what we do best, which is technology and digital skilling, of course, and we also invest in projects that are important to the local community. So we have listened, like I said, and we have started working. In this first year, we've already committed $500,000 to community investments. Let me share some examples of the community programs that I'm really excited that we're starting. So the first one is, I'm pleased to share that last week we signed a memorandum of understanding with Gateway Technical College to start the very first data center academy here in Wisconsin. We're also partnering with United Way, supporting programs that address community priorities, and with Generator to support STEM education and digital skills programs. Our first partner in the community was Root Pike Wind, and we have learned so much working with them. We are currently supporting 10 environmental conservation projects across the county, and as you know, we've also committed $4.2 million to restore 1.5 miles of Lamprey Creek that crosses our property in close collaboration with Root Pike Wind. I wanted to share a little bit more about the Data Center Academy because the Data Center Academy is our flagship program, and I believe is the one that most closely aligns with our mission. So the Data Center Academy empowers the next generation of technology leaders. It helps us create a diverse and local talent pool of skilled information technology workers in the communities where we operate our data centers. We basically are aiming to bridge the gap between education and industry. We're also aiming to break down barriers to enter the tech industry, and obviously developing a talented pipeline that can work in IT roles in any organization, as well as data centers. We invest yearly in our data center academies to provide scholarships to ensure that everyone has access to the courses and the certifications. We also work with our educational partners to ensure that we're supporting their development through more curriculum or infrastructure or whatever is needed for the Data Center Academy. So we're very pleased to be starting the very first Data Center Academy here in Wisconsin with an amazing partner that you all know, Gateway Technical College, and this is just the beginning. Our investments in community programs continue throughout construction and operation of our data centers, and this is just how we work globally. So we'll continue to look at you for ideas, priorities, and opportunities for us to continue partnering and supporting the local community. We have appreciated immensely the warm welcome that we received here in Mount Pleasant and in Racine County. Over the last several months, we have enjoyed meeting community members, officials, and many organizations that we've already partnering with. I would like to invite you to visit our blog at local.microsoft.com, where you can see our operations and how we invest in the communities here in the US as well as globally, and you can see a little bit of our history and how we develop our data centers across different communities. So in closing, we are here because we view this area as a great opportunity for our business, but also for us to give back to the community. We are grateful that we have been so warmly welcomed to this community, but we believe that by working together, we can create a positive and lasting impact in the social, economic, and environmental future of the region. We look forward to being part of Wisconsin's bright future and ask for your support in order for us to do this. Thank you.
Did you have anything else that you wanted to add to wrap up, AJ?
No, just if there are any questions, we're here to support.
Are there any quick questions as far as Microsoft's presentation goes from the board or the CDA?
Not at this time. We have heard.
The information that you're receiving is brand new, and it's going to take time to digest all of this. Go ahead.
What about the, is there timing information about the Data Center Academy?
We have just, that's a great question, thank you. So we've just signed the Memorandum of Understanding last week. So we're hoping to start integrating the curriculum into the normal curriculum that Gateway has. So we'll have more information soon. I don't have a specific date, but yeah, hopefully in the next few months.
Wow, great.
Okay, well, thank you, AJ and Gabby, and from here we can turn things over to Attorney Markowitz, who is going to be stepping us through all of the various agreements with both Microsoft and Foxconn as we continue through this.
Thank you, Mr. President. Can we put up the map? Thank you. It's up. My task today is to present to you the multiple documents associated with and necessary for the planned expansion by Microsoft in Mount Pleasant. What you will be considering during the interval between tonight and November 27th, the work product of the team with which you are all very well acquainted, which includes Milwaukee 7, RCEDC, Racine County's legal team and financial advisor, and your own staff, legal team and financial advisor. Over the past 6 months, that entire team has worked virtually every day with Microsoft and with Foxconn to reach the point where these documents are ready for your consideration and Racine County's parallel consideration. There are multiple documents, each containing many provisions, which require thorough review. Tonight, we will only be providing an overview of the contents of these documents and their financial effects. Much more detail will be developed during the meeting on November 27th, of course. The first group of documents that I'm going to talk about are the 3 Microsoft documents, which you now have in your packet and which are available for anyone who's interested. The first of those documents is the purchase and sale agreement for the village-owned land in Area 3. And the map that's up there shows you Areas 1, Area 2, Area 3. It does not show the north area of TID 5, which would lie across Highway 11 to the north, the upper part of the map. So as far as Area 3 is concerned, Microsoft is to purchase 231 acres in Area 3 from the village, which is the remainder of Area 3, the rest of which is the 315 acres purchased earlier this year by Microsoft and the ATC substation. So we've now accounted for all of Area 3. All of the Foxconn rights in this area are being released to facilitate and allow this to go forward. The sale price for the 231 acres is $36,498,000. For the 231 acres, which if you are interested in the math, equates to $158,000 per acre. Closing will be before year-end 2023, which will allow placement of the entire purchased area on the 2024 tax roll for the coming year. The second document is the purchase and sale agreement for the village-owned land in Area 2. Microsoft is to purchase 400 acres in Area 2 from the village, which is in 2 sections. One being the land between Wisconn Valley Way and the west boundary of the Cruisinger Farm. The other portion being the land east of Cruisinger Farm, extending to the village boundary, which is also the boundary of TID 5. Here also, all of the Foxconn rights are being released to allow this to go forward. The sale price for the 400 acres is $63,200,000. It's the same $158,000 per acre as I mentioned before. Once again, the closing of this parcel will be before year-end 2023, which will place this area also on the 2024 tax roll. Since I have alluded to the Cruisinger Farm, and I see my friend Dave Barnes here on behalf of Cruisinger Farm tonight, I will add that Microsoft will also be acquiring that 400-acre farm from its owners, also closing at year-end, which will significantly increase the tax assessment on that property for the tax roll for 2024. With these purchases, Microsoft will own 1,346 acres in TID 5. And I'm a city boy, so I had to have people explain to me what 1,346 acres really amounts to. And I was reminded that there are 640 acres in a square mile. So 1,346 acres is more than 2 square miles that's going to be devoted to Microsoft development. The last of the Microsoft documents is the amendment to the April 18, 2023 agreement, which you approved earlier this year. Building construction, as you have heard, is already underway and quite visible, far ahead of Microsoft's commitment to do so by 2026. A minimum of 4 buildings will be built over time, And just as we had in the earlier agreement, a failure to do so will activate repurchase rights on the part of the village. Microsoft is guaranteeing a minimum value of $1.8 billion by January 1st of 2028.
1.4.
Excuse me, 1.4, that's a typo in my notes, not, thank you. 1.4 by 1/1/28. I think the 28 is what got that messed up. No additional borrowing will be required of either the village or the county. No new infrastructure will be required of either the village or the county. And finally, no additional financial incentives from Microsoft will be required of either the village or the county. All village and county obligations will be discharged with this expansion. Footnote here, because we've been talking about areas 1, 2, and 3, where we have a new guarantee of 1.4, and we have a earlier guarantee, which remains in place from Foxconn for $1.4 billion in Area 1. We sometimes overlook the north area, which is that section on the other side, or the north side of Highway 11. That is another area that is capable of producing additional benefits to TID5 and to the community. It's still all in private ownership, but activity is stirring there as well, and hopefully we'll hear more about that in the future. The second group of documents are the 2 Foxconn documents, which are in the packet that you've received. The first is called the Second Implementation Agreement. As I've already noted, Foxconn is releasing its rights in everything being purchased by Microsoft, just as it did cooperatively for the 315 acres that was purchased in April. Foxconn retains its rights in Area 1 and continues its guaranteed value of $1.4 billion, with its full payment to be made earlier than required. The guaranteed minimum value for 2023, $1.4 billion, would normally require a make-up payment to be made when tax bills would be issued and payable with taxes in 24. Because these closings will take place before the end of the year, Foxconn will be paying the 23 make-up payment of approximately $14.3 million before the end of this year. So that will be in hand before we start the new year. Foxconn retains its rights in that part of Area 2 that I pointed to before, only now we're on the other side of Wisconn Valley Way. It's the area between Wisconn Valley Way and the freeway. And Foxconn continues to have the same rights that they received in 2017 in that particular area. You will also see that Foxconn will have the right to take ownership of the 70 acres that the village owns in Sturtevant, which is outside the boundaries of the village and outside the boundaries of TID5. The other document is called Amendments to the 2017 Development Agreement, and those are there to enable the changes that I've already talked about in the Second Implementation Agreement, and you have all of that in detail to review between now and the 27th. The last document is the needed further amendment to the 2018 Cooperation Agreement with Racine County, which has previously been amended twice by you. What you have in your packet is a placeholder, as this matter is currently under active discussion and not yet agreed upon by the principals, but I expect it to be in that position, that is, agreed upon by the time we meet again on November 27th. Now I'd like to call on my friend Todd Taves to join me here. for an overview of the financial effects of the planned Microsoft expansion. And Todd Taves is with Ellers, the village's financial advisor, and that will complete our introduction of the documents.
Thanks, Alan. Alan mentioned a couple of these items already, so this will just be a quick recap. So first and foremost, it's important to note that under the agreements, none of Foxconn's obligations are diminished, so we still have the makeup payments, special assessments. Alan had mentioned that no new incentives, no new project costs, the collective $2 billion value guarantee, and then also the cash. So the cash portion is important in that we pay off some county debt immediately, and we will also retain $36 million in cash that sits on top of the $45 million three-year internal reserve, which gives us a total of $81 million in total that secures, again, debt payments. So when we run this all through our analysis, what it indicates is that, if we hit that $2 billion, which is the minimum value guarantee collectively between what Foxconn is already obligated and what Microsoft would provide working in tandem, what that indicates is that we would pay off that debt by the year 2037, which is 13 years prior to the maximum life of TID number 5. So prior projections, we've indicated that the TID would remain open for its entire 30-year life. And again, this would indicate that we would have 13 years, anywhere from 7 to 13 years. The 7 years would be based on $2 billion. The 13 years would be based on $3 billion. So the long and the short of it is the provisions collectively within these various agreements put us in a much better financial position. Again, we're already in a good position because of the various securities we have with Foxconn under existing development agreement, but this enhances it and strengthens it. And again, we'll just go back to one particular part that I find especially valuable, and again, that would be the as we look at the uses of the cash from the land sale proceed, the ability to have that $36 million that will sit collectively between the village and the county. The details need to be worked out on that. But when we combine that with that $45 million internal reserve, which is what the cash flow would build up to, having that $81 million essentially sitting on the sidelines until all of the debt is retired, provides us a lot of peace of mind as well. So, all told, this is, from my point of view, from a financial point of view, definitely a great win for the village, and I don't have reservations.
Well, it sounds like excellent news. Do we have any questions either for Todd or for Attorney Markowitz at this point from the CDA? Is that yeah or no? Okay. From the board?
I don't necessarily have any questions, but I want to thank everybody sitting in the front row and throughout the room that has worked really diligently on this for the last few weeks. I know it's been late nights and early mornings and, well, okay, Claude,
More than a few weeks.
well, this is new to us in the last few weeks. So in any event, I was trying to be nice to everybody and thank everyone for all the hard work and effort, and that's all I had to say. Thank you.
Todd, I just have a quick question regarding the financing. I mean, this is all really good news because it's going to put us in a very cash-rich position. And when this whole thing started before Microsoft, years ago, when we were forming the TID, and we had to take on certain debt obligations in order to build out the infrastructure, which I might add, there's nothing like it in the country. The credit rating agencies, the Standard & Poor's, among them, really didn't know what to do with us because our ratios were something that was never before seen. We were literally plowing new ground. As we flesh this out over the years. I have to, feel that they are going to take very kindly at where we're positioned with this transaction with Microsoft.
Yeah, you'll recall Moody's had put a negative outlook on the village's rating. That was subsequently removed about a year ago, just with some of the positive things that happened at that point in time. So certainly, this is all credit positive. The thing that Moody's will look at going forward is there's obviously a lot of tax-based concentration, but one of the things that credit rating agencies will do is they will look at the strength of the companies, though, as well, that are part of that profile in terms of the tax base. So again, I think that bodes well from the village having Microsoft as a partner within the TID, and certainly, as you indicated, we're in a much better position from a credit standpoint than we were in 2017 when this was a lot of unknown, unsure how it would play out. And as you indicated, that there really is not a lot of analogous situations as to what we have here in the village of Mount Pleasant. So again, all good news from a credit standpoint.
Any other thoughts or comments? Denise, you first, then Ram.
So, remind me, the TID started in 2017 and was scheduled to run for 30 years.
Correct.
But we may be able to close it 7 to 14 years sooner.
Correct. Or at least retire the debt obligations. Correct.
Wonderful news.
Well, again, I want to echo the comment by Trustee Washburn and, for all the hard work and the efforts put by the team. Obviously, the numbers are very exciting, and as President DeGroot said, it will put us in a very cash positive and rich position. Excellent for the community. I guess just to recap, AJ, if you don't mind, can you just recap even from the March, the purchase of 315 acres, and what I was writing the notes is minimum value guarantee of $1.4 billion by January 2028. But now with the what we started, 315 acres in Area 3B, and the new proposed expansion, what kind of time frame we are looking at? Is it by 2028 or 2035? Because based on all the discussions and what I can gather, that looks like to me around the time frame.
Yeah, thank you. That's a good question. We are still evolving on a fair number of our plans for exactly what master planning would look like and what a build out would be. As Attorney Markovitz had noted, similar to what we had in the deal that was done in the spring, there is that repurchase option. Within the framework of the development agreement, you'll see in the packet, there's gating items by which we need to commence construction by a certain point. And similar to what we've done in 3B, I won't be the only person from the team you'll be seeing. We really appreciate the welcome that you have provided us, and expect to continue growing here.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you again, AJ. At this point, I'd like to bring up Jim Page of Milwaukee 7. He certainly has his own unique perspective on what's happening here as he's one of these big picture guys.
Thanks much, President DeGroot, and really a pleasure to be here tonight. So it's been a full year, actually, that what you're hearing about today, that this project has been in the making. And you have a really extraordinary team here at the Village. It's been alluded to already, but I have an opportunity, really being the regional economic development person, that I work with municipal, county people pretty much all across the 7 counties. The smarts, the focus, the resourcefulness that you have at this team right here is absolutely best in class. So Claude Loyce, your advisor, Maureen Murphy, who I see up there, Alan Markovitz, Chris Smith, really just an excellent team that helped to put this deal together. But this is part of a larger group. So from the Racine County Economic Development Corporation, Laura Millian is here. Laura couldn't be a better partner in terms of working on a project like this that has just a ton of complexity. And of course, our friends from the county, So Jonathan Delagrave, who has been helpful throughout, Michael Lansdorf, who is the Corporation Counsel, and their legal advisors. So of course you've got Debbie Tomchek and Bruce Block, who have been really, really helpful throughout. And I also left out Todd Taves. Todd has been a really terrific partner in terms of running the numbers, helping us to understand the economic impact that came before you here today. One partner, though, that I want to recognize that's unsung, and I see him here, is Joel Burrow. So Joel from We Energies. We Energies, like the village, like the county, like the state of Wisconsin, have made really significant investments into this particular park, and Joel has been fantastic to deal with. All of his colleagues at We Energies have also been really, really helpful. Lastly, and certainly not least, I want to thank our friends from Microsoft. This has been an incredible journey with a company that I've got a deep amount of respect for how they do business. I think they're going to be a really good community partner, and I think they're also poised to do some really interesting things in this community that are going to have deep, long-lasting economic impact. It was about a year ago that we walked on the site. AJ had come to the region, and we walked there. It was unfortunately after about 1.5 inches of rain. So I still have shoes in my closet that I can't quite get all of the dirt from between the treads. But the opportunity to work with a company like this, Gabby, AJ, a whole host of colleagues that we've had an opportunity to get to know and really have enjoyed working with them. And again, really excited to be part of this project. Thank you.
I think that Attorney Smith has a few things that he'd like to add as well.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just, I'd echo everything that's been previously said. This was quite an effort by the team that Jim mentioned over the last year or so. But the one thing I wanted to add to my colleague Alan Markovitz's comments on the agreements, and Mr. Taves as well, because clearly the concept we have and the project that is going to be before you in 2 weeks for your consideration, and then just over 2 weeks for the county's consideration, clearly is to the great financial benefit of the local community. But one thing that, as we digest these agreements over the next couple of weeks, that I'd like to highlight is that what we have for you to consider, if approved, also protects the village and the county against any type of worst-case scenario that has been warned by critics over the past 6 years. Whether those worries are founded or unfounded, this concept here, this project will protect us. Because at the beginning of this whole endeavor, it was determined that $1.4 billion in value was necessary to make sure we could make our obligations, our financial obligations. And you will notice here that as of 1/1/28, Microsoft is agreeing to a minimum value of an additional $1.4 billion in areas 2 and 3. So what does that mean? That means on top of Foxconn's guarantee, which we completely expect them to follow through on, we have $2.8 billion of guaranteed value as of January 1st, 2028. And we also have, as Attorney Markovitz pointed out, an agreement from Foxconn to pay their first big makeup payment, which was due in 2024 early. So we have that. And we also have a significant amount of cash at closing after other obligations are made to further protect us and further fill any gaps, to put in an account for a rainy day. So while it is absolutely appropriate and everyone should be looking at all the upside here and what this means for the village and the county and the region and the state, we should not lose the idea that in addition to all the upside that's here, there's also that protection in case of emergency that we will have against, to make sure our bondholders and all our obligations are going to be satisfied, and very likely satisfied much earlier than we originally anticipated, that anyone originally anticipated. So those are the comments that I just wanted to add here, Mr. President, and thank you for recognizing me.
Okay, so this pretty much wraps up what we wanted to bring forth publicly. There's much for not only our board but for the county board to digest in the next couple of weeks. Guessing that there may be questions as we go forth and go through these various agreements. And there'll be time enough to take that up the next time we get back together. The documents are available for the media, and so the media, if the media has any immediate questions, we'll be reconvening you guys out across on the other side of the hallway at the other meeting room that we have. We at the board level have a little bit more business to get on with, the normal mundane village type businesses that don't have anything to do with what you just heard. So if we could take just a minute or two to calm our microphones, and if the press would excuse themselves over into the other area, I know that we have people that will be happy to talk to you.
It's amazing. It's unbelievable. For whatever reason, they didn't want that in the press release.
The business that we had was the approval of the October 2023 Committee of the Whole meeting minutes and the October 26th Special Committee of the Whole meeting minutes. There's a motion.
Mr. President, I move to approve the October 2023 Committee of the Whole meeting minutes and October 26th Special Committee of the Whole meeting minutes.
Second.
So I hear a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
So that motion carries. And with there being no other business before the Committee of the Whole, we stand adjourned. Thank you very much, everybody.